in Taylor for about 3 years, and I'm going to kind of give you a little story of what got us here tonight. Why are we here? That's going to be one of your questions. And about, like I said, for 13 years I've been working for myself in financial services, but I'm also the president of the Wood Creek Condo Association here in Taylor. I'm a board member on the Taylor Rotary. Been happily married for 32 years, got 2 kids, 2 grandkids, so life is good. But I was a high school football coach at a small community down in Monroe County for 15 years at Summerfield Schools and then at Deerfield Schools. And one thing I learned about being a coach in a small community is everybody stuck together and we had a community. And, you know, other businesses worked with other businesses. Everybody knew what everybody was doing, and it was that small town feel. Well, when I moved up here 13 years ago, I felt that same small town feel in a big city of Taylor. And so when I moved my business into Taylor 13 years ago, I felt a disconnect in the community. And what I felt is nobody knows each other. And I found out there's 3,000 businesses, really close to 3,000 businesses in the city of Taylor. There's almost 60,000 residents in the city of Taylor, and Taylor spans about 24 miles. And I'm like, all right, it's not big, but what I found out is nobody knows each other. And when I was a high school football coach, we bought our shirts from the local guy, we did food with the local guy, and COVID kind of really brought this to the forefront is, you know, us businesses sticking together. So when I moved into Taylor, here's the true story, and here's where I found there was a disconnect. So my office is in the city of Taylor building, it's in the Taylor Recreation Center on Goddard Road. And as I've been doing this, and I had clients come in that live in Taylor, that have been clients of mine for 13 years, and they came into the rec center and they go, we never even knew this place was here. And they said, we've lived here our whole life and we didn't even know the Taylor Rec Center was here. And I'm like, there's a disconnect. And then I'm like, when I moved my business to Taylor, I'm like, I want to know who in Taylor does this and does that and does this. And that wasn't there. So my dream was, let's start a Taylor Business Alliance, or you could call it an association, whatever you want to call it. But I said, we need to start something where businesses know each other, where businesses can get involved with each other. Because my other thing is, I'm a huge community guy. I serve at Fish and Loaves, I serve at the Penrington Center, I do a lot of community stuff, and I just got blessed because a couple people introduced me to Fish and Loaves and Penrington Center, and I had the inside connection to serve at that. So there might be some of you business owners that go, I want to get involved in the community too, but I don't know where to go. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know what to do. That's where we come in. We want to bridge that gap. Maybe you want to get involved in the community. Maybe you just want to know who does what in this area for business, and that's what started this Taylor Business Alliance. I've been wanting to do this for the last 3 years, but the world has kind of turned upside down. COVID pushed the brakes on this really quick, but I'm like, I stayed focused on this. We're going to make this happen. So I wanted to, so that kind of is telling you the dream behind this alliance. We're trying to form a connection, or if you want to put another word, we're trying to form a family. A family of businesses that can help each other out, work with each other, help the community, and it's look in the long run from a business, that's going to help your business. You're going to get exposure in the community, you're going to get to partner with other businesses to do things with other businesses. You know, you could call it bartering, you can call it whatever you want, but I feel there's a little bit of a disconnect, and I think that's in every community. I don't think it's just Taylor. So how can we fix that? Well, let's get together and let's talk about this with fellow business owners and just say, hey, what do you want? What can we do? How can we help each other? How can we serve our community? And how can we do that basically at no cost? I don't want us to break the bank with our budgets for our business and stuff like that. So that's where I sat down and I gave this idea to Larry Wright and the Taylor Rotary. Well, of course, you know what happened next. They recruited me and I became a Rotarian. But you know what? But they love the idea of, because you guys all know Rotary is about serving the community. It's about, all right, perfect fit. I can serve the community with Rotary, but now how can we get these businesses connected? Well, let's start an alliance. Let's start a business association, and that's where Larry came in, locked arms with me, and that's how we got to this night tonight. And so that's, now you guys got the vision, the passion of why we're doing this, is to form a community. And what better place for us to be the trailblazers, but here in Taylor, Michigan, for other cities to copy us and do this same model. So I'm glad you're here. You're going to get some inside information tonight. You're going to hear from Ron Moran to tell you about what's going on in the Eureka Road Corridor. And I frequent a lot of businesses on Eureka Road, and I even said some stuff to them, they're like, what are you talking about? What Eureka Road corridor? So I'm like, yes, there's a disconnect. So we can do events like this to inform businesses and local people what's going on. And you're going to get to hear from Larry Wright, our Rotary president, that's going to talk about just some great ways that us as an alliance can work together to serve the community, to serve each other, and help our businesses. And that's what got us here today. So I'm glad you're here. I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight because I'm going to be so excited about how this turned out. And guys, I don't know what's going to, and here's the thing, a lot of people are like, well, what's next? A lot of what's next is going to be up to you. This alliance is for you. This alliance isn't for me. This alliance isn't for Rotary. This alliance isn't for the city of Taylor government. This is for all of us. And we're going to be open to say, hey, let's try this. Let's do this. That's where this is coming from today. So you guys, here's the thing. You guys are on the ground floor. You guys are the foundation. You guys are the launch of this. You're the trailblazers of this. And that's what's got me more excited is consider yourselves the trailblazer pioneers of the first ever Taylor Business Alliance. And, you know, Aaron Dobbins put a picture on Facebook today that her dad was one of the guys that was part of the Taylor Business Alliance back in the 60s. And we're finally bringing it back. It's funny how things come full circle in life. So that's what we're doing tonight, and I'm excited to have you here. We got some great information for you tonight. We're going to be able to meet and greet and get to know each other. But I want you guys to know why I started this, why I had this dream, and now all of us together can make this come in for fruition. So I appreciate you being here. Please help yourself to appetizers. Ask the girls for your drink orders, but please help yourself and enjoy this. I hope you get something out of it, because I've already got my little bit out here just by meeting a bunch of you guys. But now I get to introduce a great friend. I call him a business partner, but a great friend that's helped me and pushed me to make this happen. And a lot of you know him, and he's very, very well known in the community as well. But he is a part of this trailblazing effect, and I am so excited and honored to introduce our Taylor Rotary president, Mr. Larry Wright.
Is he not the Ted Lasso of Rotary?
Very good guy.
Very good guy. Keith is amazing. We are so delighted to have you here, and that we are honored to have him a member of our club, because this guy has got imagination of ideas that are just groundbreaking. Thank you for being here, and I'll tell you about the Taylor Rotary Club a little bit later, but we got some very important people here, and none other more important than our mayor, Tim Woolley. And we were graced with the fact that he was able to come here tonight, bring a lot of the other city officials here with him tonight, because I know that you need to get to mingle with them, understand what's going on in this city, and be a part of this city. And so, Mayor Tim Woolley, I'd love to have you come up here and say a few words and a welcome introduction. Please welcome our newest mayor, Tim Woolley.
Thank you, Larry, for embarrassing the heck out of me. No, I greatly appreciate it, and you know, I was fortunate that Keith and Larry came into my office probably a month ago, maybe, with this idea. And from the beginning, when they started talking about it, I thought, man, this is a great idea. It really is. You know, one of the questions is, well, how does this affect the Southwest Chamber? You know, but the thing is this makes it even tighter at a smaller level. You know, the city businesses connect with city businesses, the administration, and it allows everybody to communicate and work together, because since I've become mayor, I've had so many people say, you know, hey, we really want to help the city, but we're not really sure how to do it. So it's nice to see that this is going to be a great launching pad for people to do that. And of course, as part of the administration, I welcome anybody that wants to help the city. I'm more than happy to allow that. And so from the get-go, I thought the idea was incredible. As I said many times before, I'm just Tim, and I appreciate every business owner in this city. I look forward to working with you. I know the new council and my entire administration. I think we're all pro-business. You know, it definitely helps our city. It helps our residents, and we want to continue to go down that road as much as possible and work with everybody. And we're putting things in place to, help that process, be a little more transparent on that process. But at the end of the day, we really appreciate you being a member of our community. Even if you don't live here, you're still a resident, in my opinion. Because if you're willing to invest your time and money in our city, that's appreciate everybody coming tonight. I think Larry and Keith has come up with a tremendous idea, and I think it's really gonna really blow up from this point on. And I think it helps if everybody spreads the word. You know, if you're in a local business, or, you know, just kind of mention it when you walk in the door and you talk to a business owner or somebody at an establishment, and say, hey, you know, this new thing's starting up, and I think it's a great opportunity for businesses, because a lot of businesses can help each other. And that's the great thing about it at a smaller level. So again, I thank Keith and Larry for bringing the city of Taylor and welcoming us into this, and I think it's going to be a great partnership going forward. And again, I wish all of you the best of luck in your businesses, and we appreciate you being a part of our community. I forgot I was given a task when I got up here. So I'm supposed to have a list, though, so if I miss anybody, I truly apologize. We have some guests here tonight that I need to recognize. I'd like to recognize our City Council Chairman, Doug Geis. The City Clerk, Cindy Bauer. I see Rhonda Dinaj, our School Board President. Councilwoman Angie Wynn, I don't know her, she's reading it. I see a representative from State Representative Alex Garza's office, Angela Reed Osborne. Please hold your hand up if I'm missing anybody. I apologize. This lighting kind of messes with my vision, so I can't see really. So again, I apologize for that. And yeah, I should recognize my Chief of Staff, Dan Mazura, here. We also have George from Economic, George.
Hey,
George! So if I miss anybody, I totally apologize, and I'm sorry I forgot in the first place.
If you forgot someone's our fault, because we were supposed to give them a list. I'm sorry about that. When we first talked about putting this program together, one of the important elements was we could just have everybody come together and let's eat and drink and be merry and so on, and exchange business cards. But I don't think most business people want to spend their time that way. I think it's nice when you can come into a program, whether it's a Rotary meeting or whatever, and learn something's that help your business. And we thought about this for about 1 second. And I realized the Eureka Road Corridor is the hottest thing going right now. And so there's no other person better qualified to come and speak to this than Mr. Ron Moran. Ron Moran has a vitae that's huge, and you know, he can say, oh, don't read it. Well, I want to read it, because for a guy who's in his 40-ish years, it's amazing what he's done. And I just want to tell you what he's done. He attended St. Alfred's Catholic Grade School in Taylor. He went to Taylor Junior High, graduated from Taylor Center High School in '73. He received a Bachelor of Business Administration from Eastern Michigan in '77. In '78, he became Assistant Director of Community and Economic Development for the City of Taylor, and then later becoming the Director. And for 10 years, he was involved in the establishment of 6 tax increment finance districts, authority finance districts, TIFA. Well, they later combined them into one large district. Well, he was lured away by none other than Heinz Prechter. We all remember Heinz Prechter. Heinz hired Ron to become his Director of Real Estate for his development company, Heritage Development, and then he managed all of Heinz's real estate properties. In 2003, he joined Ghaffari Associates, where he's now the Vice President. Ghaffari is a full-service, multidiscipline architectural, engineering, planning, and management firm that employs over 450 individuals with 14 offices worldwide in over 40 countries. Some of Ron's current and most recent projects include, get ready, the Gordie Howe International Bridge, fantastic, the new Bureau of Engraving and Printing facility in Washington, D.C., a new manufacturing facility for Pelletron, a Rivian electrical vehicle manufacturing facility in Norman, Illinois, an Amazon sort facility in Huron Township, and a new administrative building for the Wayne County Airport Authority. He served as chairman of the city's Tax Increment Finance Authority since 1988. He's also been the chairman of multiple municipal development authorities in Dearborn, Southgate, and Grosseal. He enjoys travel, trying to stay healthy. This guy is skinnier than ever. By exercising daily and landscaping during the summer. How come it doesn't work for me? I landscape. Let's welcome Ron Moran.
Thank you, Larry and Keith, for inviting me here today.
I'm supposed to turn this on first.
Good, okay. The agenda for today is I'm gonna give you a little bit of the history of Tifa, explain what Tifa is, give you a little bit of background of some of the projects we've worked on over the years, and then talk about the current project we're working on Eureka Road. Back in the late 70s and early 80s, there was not a lot of money for local communities to do economic development. And in the early 80s, the state of Michigan passed a law that is called the Tax Increment Finance Authority Law. And it was a brand new to the state of Michigan. Some other states were using it, but it was brand new to Michigan, and it was going to be, it became for Taylor the most important economic development tool that was available to the city. And at the time, Wade Trim was our civil engineering and planning consultant, which they still are, and they're a great partner with the city today. They're located right next door here to the Lakes of Taylor. And the head of their planning department, a gentleman named Mike Menor, had went to a seminar where he heard and learned all about the Tifa law. And he came back to the city and he wanted to present this new information to Mayor Preby, who had been newly elected. And Kim was a young mayor, very aggressive, really wanted to raise the bar for things in the city of Taylor. However, as a consultant, you typically don't, the protocol is that you usually go through your department head, you don't go right to the mayor. So Mike came to me and he said, we need to tell the mayor about this new program because it's really gonna make a difference for Taylor. But he can't go right to the mayor. And at the time I was not the department head, I was just an assistant. So it kind of put me in a weird position because how do I get Mike to the mayor going around my boss to the mayor? So eventually we came up with a scheme that we figured out how to set up a meeting with the department head, myself, the mayor, and Mike. And we kind of came up with a reason to meet, but at the end of the meeting, the discussion went towards Tifa. And after Mike explained the whole program to the mayor, he was very enthusiastic, thought it was a really great economic development tool that the city needed to get into. And from that point on, we kind of figured out how to make it work. However, because it was so new, there was a lot of pushback from different department heads, especially in the budget finance department and in the assessor's office, because they were the ones that were going to have to do all the hard work to establish these Tifa districts. Eventually, once they learned how beneficial it was going to be to the city, they came around, and actually those two department heads became the biggest proponents of the Tifa districts. So what is Tifa? Tifa stands for Tax Increment Financing. And what the law allows you to do is you find a commercial district or a downtown district that has declining property values. And the law allows you to establish a district, and then from the day that you establish it, that's called the base year. Once that district is set up, anytime taxes increase in that district above that base year, it's called the increment, is captured by the city. Instead of those taxes going to these different taxing jurisdictions like the county, or to a library millage, or to a park system, it gets captured by the city. So that increment now becomes a tool that the city can use, but they have to put that money right back into the district that the money came from. So in Taylor, we set up 6 different districts, and they were all areas that were declining in values. I don't know if this is, oh, there it goes. So this describes a little bit about how the Tifa law works. As I said, you capture the increment, but then you have to put it right back into that district by way of public improvements. And public improvements typically are water, sewer, roads. You can actually build buildings like this building here was built with Tifa money. And so once the mayor decided to go forward with it, we set up, as I said, 6 different districts. And the TIFA is actually run by 11 board members that are appointed by the mayor and then confirmed by the city council. Those 11 board members have the absolute authority to spend that money. A budget gets submitted to the city council for approval, and once that is approved, they have the authority to spend that money. In Taylor, what we've always done is anytime we enter into a contract to spend money, we send that to council for their approval. Typically, they do a receive and file. And the Tax Increment Finance Authority Board and the council and the mayor over the years has always worked very well together. Once in a while, we get caught up in some politics that the council and the mayor are fighting over something, and then they don't want to approve something that goes to the council that TIFA's working on. But for the most part, it's been a really good partnership over the years. I've had the pleasure, as Larry said, of being on the TIFA board since 1988. So I've had a chance to work with Mayor Priebe, then Mayor Petoniak, then Mayor Priebe again, Mayor Lamoran, Mayor Sollers, and now Mayor Woolley, if he happens to reappoint me. My appointment is up in February, so not sure if I'm going to be reappointed, but
This is your nomination. You're on the agenda next month.
So what we've done over the years is we had the 6 separate districts, and I can try to go through those by, this is the districts. There was one along Telegraph Road, and Telegraph is cutting, this is north to south. Telegraph cuts the city right in half. Then we had the one, too, on the sort of the left-hand side, which is called the I-94 Beverly District. Then at the top on the right is Van Born. Then you've got Northline and Eureka, I think that's 6. And they were all 6 separate districts, and you can only spend the money that you collect in that district has to go right back in that district. What we figured out over a period of time was because they all connected, we decided that we were gonna make it one big district. So money that we collect in any part of that yellow area can be spent in another part of that yellow area. Some of the projects that we've worked on over the years is all the improvements that were done on Telegraph Road about 10 years ago, I want to say, maybe even a little bit longer, time flies, but it was about a $28 million project where we widened the road, all new pavement, did water and sewer along Telegraph, and put all the utilities underground. You don't see any telephone poles with wires all along Telegraph Road, and I would say I would match Telegraph and Taylor with any other community that has Telegraph Road in it as it relates to how it looks and how nice it is. That was a very difficult project. A lot of different utility companies had to be dealt with and negotiated, and just all these bigger projects are very difficult, and a lot of different agencies and people get involved. So when people think that these projects take a long time, they do, but because there's a lot of permits and a lot of approvals that are needed. Couple other projects that we did is Taylor Meadows. Years and years ago, Taylor had, and in some areas still does, have flooding problems. And one of the ways that Mayor Prevey back then decided that we were gonna basically dig a big hole to have a retention pond. But instead of just having this hole in the ground, why not build a golf course around it, and that become part of the way that we are gonna catch our storm sewer. Then with this building here and Lakes of Taylor, kind of the same thing. What was happening was all of the water that was coming from Metro Airport, because they have to get their water off their property fast because of the airport, then comes downriver to Romulus and into Taylor, and if the system downriver can't handle it, it's gonna start backing up, and it used to back up in Taylor. So one of the things that we did was, same thing here, all of the water issues that, or the water collection here, actually stores that water until the system downriver can accept it, and we were able to save a lot of flooding that was happening in this area here. A couple other projects that I'll mention that we've done, and sometimes we do a lot of projects that aren't sexy. They're the ones putting in a water and a sewer line. Nobody knows about that, nobody sees it once it's in, but it really is the backbone of the city. You gotta have good utilities, you gotta have good infrastructure, and that's always been important to the Tifa board, because one of the things that that does is it opens up development on vacant property. One of our, and I should mention, one of our very first projects was the widening of North Line Road. Don't know how many people remember, but North Line Road all the way from Allen to Inkster used to be just a 2-lane road. And in some discussions way back when Mayor Prevey was in office, a gentleman that I went to work with, Heinz Prechter, came to the city and said, you've got a lot of vacant property along North Line Road, especially from Telegraph to Inkster, and if you put in infrastructure there, you're gonna create a lot of opportunities for economic development. So we put together a plan where we widened North Line Road from 2 lanes to 4 and 5 lanes, put in water and sewer, put in other utilities, and then North Line Road just exploded with economic development. So it was a tool that we used to create jobs, to create business opportunities here, and it was really the first project that we did that really made a difference in the city. The DPW building here, that's at the corner, is another project that's been paid for with Tifa. So the Tifa board typically works hand in hand with the mayor and the administration. They try to set the tone to what projects are the most important. We put together a list, and depending on the funding, we kind of go through that list and reprioritize it every so often. We're collecting now around $8 million a year in our Tifa district. And years ago, when we were doing the North Line project, we actually entered into an agreement with Wayne County, because North Line Road from Telegraph to Allen was not in a Tifa district. So the city of Taylor had no way to fund the expansion of North Line in that area. So we entered into an agreement with Wayne County that if they made the improvements in that district, we would allow them, the money that we were capturing in the North Line district, we would repay to the county in order for them to pave the widening of the road in North Line Road. So after a period of time, the county had been repaid way more money than they put into paving the area from Telegraph to Allen. There was been some dispute whether the agreement said one thing or the agreement said another thing, and about 4 years ago, the city of Taylor sued Wayne County to try to get some of that money back that they've been paying them over the years. The lawsuit went before a judge, and the judge came back and told the city and the county to sit down and negotiate a deal. And he demanded that the people that be on the negotiating team be the assistant county executive, their legal counsel representing the county, the mayor of Taylor, myself, and our legal counsel. Now, I wasn't real happy that I was part of this negotiating team because I have a full-time job, but I had to show up when the judge said it was time to negotiate. We spent 4 years negotiating this contract, or the settlement, I'll call it. And the judge demanded, he would have ruled on it, but he said, you really don't want me to rule on this lawsuit. He said, you really do need to settle this out of court. So after 4 years of negotiations, we finally came to a settlement, and the settlement ended up, the result of it is this Eureka Road corridor study. And the result of that is that the city of Taylor, Tifa, is gonna put $8.5 million into Eureka Road, and Wayne County is gonna put $8.5 million into Eureka Road. So we have about a $17 million budget to make these improvements. So what we're doing is we're improving Eureka Road from Telegraph to Allen Road. And people that travel that area over the years know that there's a lot of flooding along the open drainage ditches in front of Southland and the viaduct that goes under the railroad along Eureka Road floods. And so we've hired our favorite consultants, Wade Trim, and they've been working on this project for a couple of years. And again, it gets very complicated because there's a lot of different agencies involved. These are just some of the people that we have to negotiate either through permits or they've got easements or they've got utilities, and every one of these have to sign off on our plan. And Wade Trim has spent a lot of time, and the Tifa board has spent a lot of time going through different plan approvals. And I forgot to mention, and George was introduced earlier today, but George is one of the people that we work with on a daily basis to get these plans approved and get them moving through all the different agencies. Some of the things that we decided to do is do a traffic study. There's a lot of site planning, there's hydraulics that need to happen in order to figure out the flow of the storm water and how do you capture that in areas so it helps stop the flooding. A lot of geotech investigation, topography, and utility surveys. And again, all this takes time, and we're very impatient. We like to get our projects done and move on to the next one. So a project like this that takes a long time, takes a lot of patience. One of the other things that we've decided to do is do some what I'll call signage / sculptures. These were actually designed by the Wade Trim Group, and it plays in with the bridge that's at 94 and Telegraph. It's kind of that same theme. And we're gonna have one at the corner of Telegraph and Eureka, and the other one roughly at Jackson and Eureka, so it'll be at the east end of the street. My understanding that the foundations are in, and this should be installed sometime no later in, Kelly, don't hit me if I'm wrong, but May of this year, is that correct? One of the other things that the Tifa board insisted is we made a number of improvements to the traffic signals along Eureka. And one of the things, and I think we spent about $1 million improving these traffic signals. And one of the things that we insisted that they be what, I don't know the technical term to them, but I call them smart signals. And the way these are supposed to work is when there's a lot of traffic going in one direction, but not a lot in the other direction, the light stays green to keep that backup moving, so there isn't a backup. And then it detects that it's time to change, and then the other direction moves. So it's supposed to help the traffic along Eureka move faster and keep moving so there's not a lot of backup. Some of the other key things that we're doing is there's going to be a lot of landscaping along the street. We're enclosing some of the drainage. I think that's This is a picture right here that shows no sidewalk or very little sidewalk. So you have people walking along Eureka Road, and anyone that drives that knows there's a lot of traffic along that, and it's very dangerous. I think we did a study in Eureka, near where the expressway dumps into Eureka, is one of the biggest areas for accidents in the city of Taylor. We're gonna be widening some of the drainage will stay open drainage, but it's gonna be widened, and it's gonna have some sort of a park-like feeling. You can see the picture on the left there is the open drainage ditch, and the picture on the right is how it's gonna look when it's done. And then this is an area along in front of Southland. Again, we're gonna do some drainage that's gonna help it flow downriver faster, so it won't be backing up into the city of Taylor in these drainage districts. And we're gonna put together a park-like atmosphere along the street. We're hoping to also get some of the businesses there, like Southland, and we've been fortunate enough that the general manager or one of the senior managers at Southland has always sat on our TIFA board. And so they've always been very supportive and always have been very involved in helping us get things through, what approvals or any other things that we need that they can help us through. They've always been very helpful. I did forget to mention that also on the TIFA board, we always have a city council member. And Angie, who was introduced earlier today, is our newest member on our TIFA board. And so she is the liaison person that will act with the TIFA board, with the council, and hopefully she'll always be keeping the TIFA or the council up to speed with what's going on at the TIFA board, and we'll be able to support what we're doing and take that support to the city council. This is just a cross-section of how that is gonna look, the drainage ditch in front of Southland. You'll see that there's, on the right-hand side, and I'm sorry if I'm obstructing some views here, but there's gonna be a kind of a lookout area in a couple places where you'll be able to look out over, hopefully it'll be some kind of landscaped area that will be attractive enough that you'll wanna spend some time there. And we're also gonna do, besides a sidewalk, there's gonna be I'll call it a wider path that I think is going to be 10 feet wide. So it's gonna be able to, people will be able to walk and bike and jog if they choose to do that. There'll be plenty of room on that walking path in order to do that. Some of the benefits that the plan will have, there'll be a wider sidewalk, lighting upgrades, improved landscaping. We're even gonna upgrade the bus stops that along there. We're gonna have some furnishings, trash receptacles, benches, bike racks, things like that, have a linear park. And it's really just gonna be a real improvement for Eureka Road. And I can tell you that way back when I worked for the city, and I left working for the city in 1987, we wanted to do this. So it's taken us that long to get to this point that we finally have enough money and we're able to do it. And hopefully about 2 years, Kelly, are we expecting it to be completed? 2 to 3 years. And most of that, again, is because it takes so long to get these permits and approvals from all these different agencies and everybody that's got utilities underground, and you gotta move them, and there's always complications that you don't expect, and no one seems to be in a hurry as we are. They're always wanting to dot every I and cross every T, and I don't blame them, but they don't ever seem to be in as big a hurry as we do. With that, hope I didn't take too much time, Larry. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Good job.
If
You're
know about you guys, that was amazing. Just to see, and just to see what's coming soon in Taylor, and I think that's gonna make an impact, and we all know over the last, 8 to 10 years, the city's been getting more and more improvements, and this is just even more exciting. And one of the things is, this is what the Alliance is gonna do. We wanna get you the inside scoop. For some of you, this probably affects you. Maybe your business is along Eureka Road corridor, and we're gonna, and Larry's gonna talk some more on this, but we're gonna be, part of the Alliance is getting you this information, and of topics that may be of interest to you in the city, and I thought this was a great one to start with Eureka Road corridor, and I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited too. Now what we're gonna do is Larry's gonna talk to you about, when we're talking about reaching the community and getting involved in the community, Larry's gonna talk to you guys about some big projects that we've done and are working on that maybe is your thing to get involved in the community. So part of the Alliance, not only to get to know other businesses, but also get to know what's going on in the city that you do business, but now, how can I reach the community? How can I help others in the community? And Larry's gonna talk to you guys about how we can get involved in the community and help others and just build that partnership and that fellowship. So, I would get to introduce our Rotary President, Mr. Larry Wright.
So Rotary is all about service. Well, everyone in Rotary is a business person at some level, and our whole motto is service above self. And so for 77 years, the Taylor Rotary Club has been serving the community of Taylor and the world also. And so just briefly, I want to tell you a little bit about our club. Right now we meet here Thursdays at noon for a real nice luncheon here at the Lakes of Taylor. We love the Lakes of Taylor. I'll tell you right now, there's not a better place in the city of Taylor than being right here. This is some of our members, and we've been doing projects for 77 years, and we do the coat drive every year with Armando Sardanapoli, one of our better members, great members. We were one of the first, and this goes back to about 1994, we started the Fire Safety House. Fire Chief Deal came to the Taylor Rotary and said, other cities have a fire safety house, I think Taylor needs one also. And so we got together with Masco and other business people in the city. We actually built a fire safety house. It's at the fire station on Ecorse Road. And for many, many years, students were brought to that house and taught what to do in the event of a fire in that house. And it was amazing, and they have stories of where children were actually saved because they had that experience. And the fire safety house is still there. It still could be operational. The Taylor Rotary Club was one of the very first to step forward and bring the Taylor Conservatory to Taylor. The Taylor Rotary Club itself pledged $50,000 on day one to get this in here. And as you all know, the Taylor Conservatory is the jewel of Downriver, and we are so blessed to have it in our city. And thanks again to Aaron Dobbins, who's our executive director, and Terry Fritz, who's the president of the foundation, for all you do at the Taylor Conservatory. You deserve a round of applause. So we're about service above self, but so when we started talking about the Alliance, we're saying, we're not asking you to join Rotary. God bless you if you do, we'd love to have you. But we do so many good things in the city. And we know, like Keith pointed out, that many businesses want to volunteer, want to do something, or they don't know how to do it, or we do it because we need to be recognized. The businesses should be recognized for being so generous to do something. So anyway, our Rotary Club has been involved in coming up this year 4 what we call cornerstone projects that any one of you can participate in and join us. And maybe it touches a hot button with you. You say, I think our company can help donate maybe. Maybe you can donate volunteers. I know Angie with her, this is Metro Detroit Shares. This is Angie's project. She's a Taylor Rotarian. And we were so struck by what she does and why she does it. They're offering comfort to families who have lost a child at childbirth. And that is amazing to think about. And so she's taken her personal experience and turning it into something really good in the community. And they do amazing things. In fact, if you come back here next week and join us next Thursday night, For $20, you can have dinner here and listen to Andy's program with the Taylor Rotary Club. But this is going to be one of our cornerstone projects this coming year. And maybe it's something that touches your heart. This is one that we've been doing for about 8 years. It's been on before then, but the Taylor Rotary jumped in and took the lead on the Wounded America Ride. This is all for veterans. So we do this motorcycle ride coming out of Motown Harley-Davidson, and we get the bikers together, we get sponsors from all the Rotarians. Randy Fritz Enterprise here in Valley Steel, the Fritz family has been one of the biggest donors to this. And over the years that we've done this, we raised $30,000 typically each year. Not one penny of that money is used for overhead whatsoever. Every dollar of that money goes to charities that support our veterans, such as Downer for Vets, Foundation 14, the Victory Gym, and that's what this goes for. And so this is one of our keystone projects that we do. It's coming up this July 9th, it's a Saturday, and I guess I can mention that now. So not only did our Mayor Tim Woolley say, we're in, but Mayor Bob McCrate from Romulus, the new mayor, said, we're in. Mayor of Dearborn Heights said, we're in. Dearborn mayor said, we're in. We now have 4 mayors that are coming together to make this ride even bigger. And so, if you like veterans, if you want to support veterans, this is a great opportunity. And we have about a dozen restaurants in this area that donate the food. So when the riders land, we feed them with free food from people like Leon's Family Dining on Telegraph Road and others. So this is a great project. If veterans are the thing that you feel most touched by, you can join us with this. This is another one, and Keith started this last year. This thing is taking off like a rocket in this city. He started a softball tournament at our Taylor Rotary Park on North Line, or on Telegraph rather, right by the state police post. And this year, it's going to be a complete police tournament. Different police departments in this region are going to have a softball tournament, and all the proceeds will go to support our police and first responders. If that's what you want to get involved in, come and join us. Be a part of this. And this is a new one, and I've talked to Cindy, I've talked to Sarah about this. The Taylor Rotary Club is going to be partnering with the Taylor Goodfellows and the Knights of Columbus, because we know what good things you do with that Goodfellows paper in December at Christmas time, and No Child Left Behind. And we want to be a partner with you. So we want you to come and join us and be partners in this project. Now let's all go stand on those corners, wear your Santa hat, and help the children in this community. So when we say we're going to help connect you to the community and to each other, you see the tagline down below, connecting you to the community, each other. This is how we can do it. Taylor Rotary has been very successful doing this, believe me, doing projects like this. Now imagine if all of a sudden we have another 500 people who say, hey, count us in. We'll help you with that, veterans or the children. That's what it's about. So no one's being forced to do anything, but we'll tell you one thing. If you participate, if you support it on any level, we want to make sure that you're thanked properly for it, you're recognized properly for it. And this is just the 4 of the cornerstones that we're talking about. We've got a few others. I know Jeff, who's also in our club, he's the marketing manager at Culver's. He wants to get a restaurant crawl going in the city of Taylor. So there's going to be a lot of projects. That's pretty much what we're talking about here with this Business Alliance. I want to give you an opportunity to connect with the community and connect with businesses. And maybe we'll get a couple Rotarians. I know I see a couple. Rhonda, raise your hand, please. Rhonda's going to be one of our newest members soon. And but we're just delighted to be the sponsor of this Taylor Business Alliance. Because Taylor Rotary is all about business working as service to the community. So one last thing I'll just tell you, we're going to have quarterly meetings. So this is the kickoff, the inaugural. You are all charter members, by the way. And the next meeting will be, I think I have a slide, let's just see. Okay, the next meeting will be here, and it's going to be April 20th. It's a Wednesday night, not a Thursday. Same format, but we're calling them techno meetings. Nobody needs another meeting in their life, do you? But if you come here and you learn, like you learned from Ron tonight, I learned things I couldn't even imagine about the Eureka Road Corridor, and I'm so grateful you're here. We're gonna do things like that. We're gonna bring great information to you, the techno meetings, and then we're gonna do a little bit of meet and greet. We're also working with the mayor and the city council and others. We wanna have several representatives from the city here. So if you're in business, and maybe you're thinking of coming to Taylor or doing business in Taylor, maybe you wanna talk to someone, they're gonna be here. So as we're doing the techno meeting, then we're gonna have a little meet and greet, get a chance to meet some of these incredible people who are either working for the city or volunteered for the city, but where now you can stay connected within the city too. So, Keith, I think I've run out of gas here. I can't say enough about Keith and what he's done. Like I said, the Ted Lasso, the Taylor Rotary Club, and as he mentioned, there's no dues to join the Taylor Business Alliance. Just, you have to have a heart for this, and that's what we're looking for.
Thank you. So, he keeps calling me Ted Lasso. I mean, yeah, I did high school football, basketball, and track for 15 years. Now, how can you do 3 varsity sports? Well, the school only had 300 kids in it, so it was the same kids. I just made them do every sport. So, but if you all on the tables, you guys will see what I call a questionnaire. Fill it out. Put your information on there, and then there's 2 key questions on it. What do you? Because this is the inaugural. This is the you're all charter members. What do you want to see out of this Taylor Business Alliance? What do you and your business want to get out of this? We want suggestions. So this is not dictatorship. It's not going to be me and Larry's way. Like I said, you're not asking to join Rotary, but what do you want to get out of this? What do you want to see that can help your business and get you involved? So fill that out. We're not selling your information, so just put down that information and then drop that flyer off to the lovely ladies that you guys met out front when you guys were signed in, and get that to them. And between me and Larry, we'll get back with you and touch base with you, and we'll have some brainstorming meetings. We want feedback, we want ideas, and we're gonna have more. And again, we're having the quarterly meetings, but that doesn't mean we can't do other projects. Larry showed you the big 4. Those could change. There's other things that maybe there's something that touches your heart that you want to see the Business Alliance get involved in. This is for you, and that's what I want you to remember. This is for you. I hope you guys grasp a hold of this alliance. I know we had a lot of people that couldn't make it tonight. I'm expecting the next one to be bigger, and maybe we'll get this so big that we're going to have to force the city of Taylor to make this place bigger, because this isn't going to be big enough. And I'm a big dreamer, and I like to have big goals. And I want you guys to be a part of that. So thank you so much for coming. We're not kicking you out. Mingle, meet people, talk to people, get to know people, have some fun, eat those appetizers, get some drinks, but get to know each other. This is the networking time now. So get to know each other. Come and ask any of us questions, and we'll be more than glad to help you. I really, really appreciate you guys being here. Have a great rest of your night, and I wish you guys a happy 2022.